Hello, my name is Adam and today I will be analysing my performance and skill level in basketball. This presentation aims to evaluate and justify factors that have affected my ability to acquire and develop basketball skills in relation to skill acquisition. I will also be analysing a chosen training regime and its ability to enhance a specific position and improve my stage of learning. To analyse my performance and decide on the optimum position, a skills analysis data collection instrument was used. A skills analysis is a medium in which an individual or an outside source can analyse a player's performance based on their knowledge, a set of criteria, or feedback given to them by others. These analyses are used to give athletes a better understanding of their skills and provide them with feedback to further their stage of learning, RASTEV 2018. A skills analysis used was the Basketball Skills Analysis, BSA, which was used to assist me in choosing my position, as well as establishing my stage of learning at the beginning of the basketball unit. The BSA used statistical measures to analyze performance. These skills observed and assessed were classed as ineffective or effective, and included dribbling, passing, shooting, layups and jump shots, and other intangibles such as screening and boxing out. Based on this data analysis, my chosen position is guard. The three most important aspects of guard play are passing, shooting, and dribbling, as well as defense. These can all be further refined to the ability of being able to dribble around players and up and down the floor, shooting in terms of outside shooting, both 3-point and mid-range, and around the basket, Gels 2019. Guards need to be skilled passers as they take on the role of the main facilitator of the team. They also need to be quick and agile and require a strong understanding of the game, Siegel 2016. They also require good court vision and need to be able to make decisions based on what is happening around them with speed and consistency, Mac 2013. By analysing my skills analysis sheet, I was able to identify key characteristics in my game that fit the mold of a guard. By looking at the statistics on the BSA, we can see that I performed multiple effective skills in each of the three main areas of guard play, whilst the intangibles, which are much more suited to forwards, had only one attempt whatsoever. These key skills were shooting, dribbling, and passing. My shooting was effective 30% of the time, dribbling was effective 100% of the time, and passing was effective 57% of the time. Also, traits of the guard position such as decision making and the understanding and reading of the game are present in my performance when looking at the Year 11 Performance Criteria, PC. We can see that an A grade was given when referring to my consistent and discerning reflection and decision making that enhances physical responses and outcomes, and in consistent and effective initiation of change or modification to team or personal strategy to solve problems. To improve my current stage of learning, I must improve my shooting and overall decision making. This would also be aided in increasing my fitness level. To further analyze a player's skill level, we can place them into specific stages of learning to allow them to further improve their abilities and gain a greater understanding of their skill level. The idea of stages of learning was created by Fitz and Posner in 1967, who suggested that motor skill learning is done through three distinct stages. These three stages of learning are classed as cognitive, which is a beginner stage, associative, which is intermediate to highly skilled, and autonomous, which is elite level to professional standard. I have classed my stage of learning as mid to high associative. The associative level is split into three sections due to it being the stage at which learners will often spend the most amount of time. The associative stage of learning talks about an athlete being at a stage in which they can effectively practice and participate within the sport with their level, that being low, mid, or high, reflecting their skill further. The associative stage is often the stage most people will stay in unless they are of a professional level talent, He 2011. My stage of learning was classed between the mid and high stages of the associative bracket based on the skills analysis and my understanding of the stages of learning. This stage of learning is now presenting me with a problem, as I am unable to further progress my abilities and performance within my chosen position without progressing to a higher stage of learning. An issue with my current skill level is consistency. In the BSA, we can see that despite being a high number of effective skills performed, they are either matched or surpassed by a negative performance. This excluded dribbling, which was effective 100% of the time. During this drill, we can see that issues are present that are preventing me from furthering my stage of learning. During the clip, we can see that I make 4 out of 10 shots. Despite being a respectable percentage, the situation I am in would lend itself to a higher percentage. This is because I am taking open shots in a closed environment. This is evidence of my stage of learning, as a key characteristic of mid to high associative is the need for greater consistency in their performance, He 2011. Another piece of evidence is during this full court gameplay. Despite starting the game off strong, making 3 3-pointers, I then missed a further 3 shots after this. As stated by Heed in 2011, the associative level, in particular the mid to high level, learners can identify cues, but decisions are not always correct. The shots that I missed were often difficult shots contested by a defender. The decision to take these contested shots rather than pass to a teammate shows a mid to high level understanding. This shows issues in my decision making, another issue associated with the overall skill level of associative learners. He 2011. Fatigue is often a factor in this, as for mid to high level learners, they are often newer to the game or do not have the fitness level to maintain optimum performance within a high paced game. He 2011. Endurance is the most prevalent barrier in the progression of my stage of learning. Endurance is defined as the ability to keep doing something difficult, unpleasant, or painful for a long time. Cambridge Dictionary 2019. Endurance in basketball means a player can perform skills at a high level throughout the game and not allow their performance to suffer due to fatigue. Endurance is often caused by a lower overall fitness level and is often more commonly an issue in the lower learning stages, such as low associative and cognitive, due to the nature in which the athletes in this stage participate in sports. He 2011. This is a central problem that is limiting me from progressing further in my stage of learning, as it inhibits me from being able to perform the core skills of the game at my peak performance for certain periods of time. At times, this makes me unsure of how I will play, limiting how I perform, which further affects the play of the team as a whole. During the weeks of gameplay, I consistently reached a barrier in my performance as I was unable to continually perform at a high level once I became fatigued. This, in turn, leads to issues with consistency. This issue led to a severe barrier when trying to increase my stage of learning, because autonomous players, and even some very high associative players, are often highly skilled and almost always competitive players. They have the endurance to maintain high performance levels, something I am currently missing. This meant I was unable to display any characteristics such as quick and consistent decision making and being able to perform skills with little thought through muscle memory, He 2011, as I did not have this same endurance level. To increase my stage of learning, a series of training drills were implemented to increase my endurance using various activities that are also tailored toward the guard position. A type of training drill I used was varied hold practice. This practice type focuses on the repetition of a certain skill in multiple environments. This drill, in particular, focused on taking mid-range jump shots from two different spots on the court, whilst also having an added focus on the release point and arc of my jump shot. Release point and arc are key aspects of the shot, as in conjunction, they promote a more efficient arc on the shot, which can lead to the hoop being 50% larger upon entry of the ball. Boulders Balls Basketball 2015. This was done to improve my shooting percentage and gain more consistency in the action. The drill involved myself starting at the top of the 3-point line, running to the top of the left key and taking a one dribble pull-up jump shot. I then ran back around the top of the 3-point line and to the top of the right key, again repeating the same one dribble pull-up. This was repeated until 5 shots were taken on each side of the court for a total set of 10. The drill's length was also chosen to match the general amount of shots I would take in a game to replicate the fatigue I would develop in the shooting motion. This practice type is effective for my stage of learning as it works on the key elements of an important skill. It is also focused on making as many shots as possible in a large sample space in the effort to gain more consistency. The mass practice type was used in conjunction with the whole practice type. This meant the drill involved multiple repetitions of the skill, which promoted an increase to my endurance whilst in the shooting motion. Mid to high associative learners also benefit most from mass practice, as they've mastered the essential skill technique, and it allows the skill to become a more natural motion, Heed 2011. By also adding the fatigue element, I am more able to accustom myself to how I can maintain proper form whilst tired. Also, the repetition of the drill as a whole builds fitness. The feedback types I used were internal feedback and knowledge of results. Internal feedback uses the information received from the senses as a result of performing movements. This means the ability to tell whether or not a shot is a good or bad shot upon released based on how it feels out of the hands. This works in conjunction with knowledge of results, as this action focuses on both the result and what causes it. This means during the action I can tell myself what I have done right or wrong and how this is or is not reflected in the result. During the drill, I was able to know internally after each shot was taken how I felt about it. Whilst hard to convey on film, the technique was used and is quite often evident by the body language shown after each shot. These practice types and feedback allowed me as a mid to high associative learner to most effectively train my skills to move past the barrier of endurance to increase my stage of learning. I've developed a more natural flow to my shot, and there is less required focus to achieve the desired arc and release angle. This shows a characteristic of high associative learner in that skills can be effectively performed with little thought, Heat 2011. Throughout this process, I've also developed a higher fitness level and have begun to see less negative effects on my gameplay later into games. As with all teams and individuals, the benefits of a constant and most importantly effective training routine is imperative to the improvement of skills as a whole. By continuing both my training and if my classmates were to continue theirs, we would see a major increase in our skill levels. Training specific to a sport can increase agility, speed, and endurance, Pereira 2019. By continuing these training methods, we could all improve our stages of learning and increase the overall competitiveness of our games.